and a 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I am your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is none other than Miss Regina Rosendahl. Regina, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good, a little bit tired, but it's all right. It's all right.
Hey, I'm all with you right there. I got to say right now, when it comes to tired, the grind never stops, and the grind never stops for you, Miss Regina Rosendahl. I've been seeing a lot of the work that you've been doing with FCF, and just in general, man, you're always on the grind. So, like I said, that's the perks of being in the business, and the perks of just being the talent that you are.
Yeah, sure. Kind of would still appreciate a break though, but yeah,
Hey,
it is what it is.
hey, I'm right there with you. But at the end of the day, I try to put the positive spin on things. You try to be a little
Yeah,
optimistic with it, but I get you. I totally understand where you're coming
that's
from.
not a finished thing to be positive, so I'm sorry. I try.
Hey, well, like I said, but still, trying is the best thing. But when it comes to trying, I will say this: FCF wrestling. Here's what I gotta love about this, man. You're wrestling there, you're training there. It really gives a great dynamic of just here you are, you're the in-ring talent applying your craft, but you're also teaching these youngins, if you will, these up and comers, really their overall craft. So I gotta say, from both a standpoint, that's gotta be awesome for you because looking at it from a standpoint of just okay, here I am, I'm training these people, here I am wrestling. It's one of those things where we're bringing up the talent as well, not just in ring, but behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I really love just making Finnish pro wrestling better in any way that I can. Um, and coaching was something very natural to me. I've coached for most of my life. I've been coaching basketball and some martial arts, and so yeah, it was quite natural to take that step when the previous head coach stepped out. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of changes though. Things are not the same as they were a couple of years back, but yeah, I'm very happy with the results. Obviously, I still see a lot of room for improvement. I still want to work on a lots and lots of more things in 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 training the wrestlers and referees and just any talent that we have. I think there's so much room to improvement. And yeah, I do a lot of other stuff for FCF as well. But yeah, I think the coaching has been like the most demanding thing that I've done.
I gotta say, well, you're coming from a background with basketball, which first and foremost, basketball, your favorite sport, like the way they dribble up and down the court. There you are from the basketball side of things, which is another amazing sport. I'll be honest with you, speaking from the American point of view, you got your New York Knickerbockers growing up in New York, one of the
Yeah,
most popular teams, and then here you are now mixed martial arts, which again another craft where we've seen a lot over the years of the tie-ins and correlations with professional wrestling. You look at
yeah.
Ronda Rousey's, your Shayna Baszler's, like I got to ask you about
Hmm.
the mixed martial arts standpoint as well, because here you are, the MMA world, pro wrestling world, a lot of similarities in a way as well.
Sure. A lot of similarities. I believe it has helped, but it has also been very challenging to unlearn some things that I've learned in martial arts. Um, because obviously pro wrestling is not a martial art.
Mhm.
We are performers. We do theater, which is physical, sure, but it's not a martial art. So, but yeah, I think there are a lot of stuff that I've gotten from martial arts like kickboxing. I still do a lot of kicks and strikes and stuff in my wrestling as well. And I think just a general understanding of how you should move around in the ring and how you should just behave in the ring, I think that helped a lot. But like I said, a lot of things to unlearn as well.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. When you're coming from a world and you're teaching stuff, I'm going to say this. It's like Kevin Hart and his stand-up comedy. He's scared of UFC fighters because they can destroy a man's world. You know what I'm saying? They find the pressure point and boom, you out like a light. So it's like that stands from the comedy aspect, and what he's saying is very real. It's very true from the fighter standpoint. But I got to
Hmm.
say as well, like strikes and kicks are very important. Like you mentioned, footwork. That's just like pretty much like 101 with professional wrestling. And I see it in your work with your
Hmm.
strikes and kicks. Very dominant. You add that to your arsenal very well.
Yeah, it took a while though. Still, my finisher is a kick to the head, And I still get sometimes nervous about it because if you know if it's too stiff or if I just actually kick someone in the head without them protecting themselves, it's like they could die. So sometimes I still feel that nervousness in the ring. But like most of my stuff, I am now starting to get like comfortable with all the strikes and stuff. But when I started, I still wanted to do the kicks, but I was super safe. I was being like super careful, and it showed. Um, but yeah, I think it's now I'm kind of in a point where I can actually utilize those skills better in a way that it actually looks awesome.
I also dig it as well because when it comes to finishing maneuvers, nothing says just straightforward and just like boom in your face like a nice little kick to the head. Ain't that a kick in the head? It's not just a song, it's a way of life. Because I will say this, look at Test, God rest his soul, one of the beautiful, sweetest boots ever to come right across your dome. It's one of those things where if you get a nice little kick to the head, hit it in the right spot, you're done. So, I mean, I appreciate that because it's sometimes the most simplistic moves. And dare I say the old adage, keep it simple, stupid. And like I said, sometimes you got to keep it simple.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah, I think like the simplest moves are often the best ones, not always. Sometimes like some of them just don't work anymore, or they can look a little boring in some ways, but I think it's all about the selling and how you portray the move. What do you do before, what you do after? I think that's the most important part. But yeah, sometimes I see like a lot of um, like super complicated finishers or something like I understand I understand the, like the thought process, like it has to be special and then you just add and add and add more and more and more, and then eventually uh it's just maybe not as effective looking. So yeah, but I do understand where that comes from. um but yeah, I like my finishers and my moves quite simple.
Hey, when Stan the Lariat Hansen says it right in the name, and Stan Hansen was blind for God's sake, a great Hall of Famer in professional wrestling. All he had to do was just boom. You never know where it's coming from, but it's probably one of the sweetest and damnedest lariats in the history
Yeah,
of lariats.
yeah.
I also like how you worded that because I mean we're in a day and age where everybody wants to do the aerial assault, if you will. Let's do a dive over here. Let's do this. Everybody
Hmm.
wants to do like a lot of pile drivers and power bombs. And what's cool about this is too, like we were talking about the old school mindset here. When you see a lot of fast paced stuff, and like you said, we were talking about footwork. Man, everybody, it's like watching a video game. Like I got my PS2 in here. It's like X squared, triangle, R1, R2. It's like so fast and it's so forward. But
Hmm.
sometimes it's like, yo, man, we got to slow it down here and tell a good story and just apply the systematic dissection joint manipulation, if you will, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's exactly what pro wrestling is. It's storytelling where it's characters and a story. So if the moves um are playing well with the story, great, then use them. If they're not, probably shouldn't use them. If they don't make sense to the story, if they don't make sense to the character, you probably should figure something else out. But that's just me. I'm very much story based wrestler and very much the story based person. And I love the character work more than anything. So yeah, I believe in a lot of ways like like less is more. Even though it's pro wrestling, so more is more, of course, but still.
No, I dig it, and here's one of the things why I love NXT UK so much because NXT UK has really a lot about the wrestling. It's just like you said, you have the old school rules match, you have just everything
Hmm.
that goes into it, and I can appreciate that because also I'm going to say, as the American here, a lot of us watch that and we get introduced to this new style with British strong style, even if we watch strong style with Japanese, and even the Finnish
Mm.
style, if you will, because we see it with your promotion. It's like it's something for a lot of us to absorb and take in, and that's what makes the variety of wrestling that we have today so amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And well, what I love about it too is with the FCF. I mean, you bring in a lot of talents from Europe. I mean, there's some Asian talents in there as well. But it's like, god dang, man, everyone from around the world. Here we are in Finland. It's a very marketable. It's a very, it's a great spot for professional wrestling. Every spot in Europe, every spot in wherever you are in the world is an amazing spot for wrestling. You just have to ride in the right school, which we see with FCF and just in general. And here we are off to the races, and we see a lot of great talents come out from your promotion.
Yeah, I mean, I know Finland is kind of isolated in a way from like other parts of Northern Europe, and it's like very expensive to fly out from Finland. So that's like a huge thing for a lot of promoters to. It's a huge step to buy some from Finland to wrestle because it's gonna cost a lot of money. Um, but we have always had like a very solid I would say understanding of wrestling and or at least the fundamentals of wrestling. And from what I've heard and understood is like even before my time it was like Finland was kind of like a place to be. Like it was an honor to get booked in Finland because well right now like we don't need to book anyone from outside. We have enough wrestlers of our own. So if we bring someone in now, it's because they are actually gonna bring something to the table that we don't have. They're gonna be able to teach us something. They're gonna be able to give us something else to the show that we don't have. Um, so yeah, it's like we are in a pretty good situation at least now during COVID because we can just do shows with our local talent, like very excellent shows, like very good quality shows. We don't need to bring anyone in. So yeah, but like in the last couple of years, um, we not only are good at the fundamentals of wrestling or the technical wrestling, but we are very good. We are one of the leading promotions in storytelling and character work as well. We have an excellent booking team. We have an excellent writers. Um, so that has taken huge leaps in the past couple of years. So I'm very proud of that.
And you should be. And I'll say that with the utmost sincere respect. You should be because I see a lot of work that goes into the promotion. I really dig it. If people are not checking out some FCF, you are missing out. And I got to say, from the local talent side of things, I can respect that too because growing up on Long Island, New York, you're in the Northeast in the United States. Like you have the New York wrestling connection where guys like Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, Hawkins, and Ryder came from there. And so many stars that would go on to various wrestling promotions. And the Northeast has always been like a hotbed. I mean, I'm going to say this word here. It's pretty much wrestling and training schools out the wazoo. There's a word for you, the wazoo, where it's from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and you see from the overall the Massachusetts, the New England area. And that's what I love about just seeing like the local and the homegrown towns like you mentioned. And like you talk about with COVID, I think the positive, if you want to take out from this COVID and everything, everybody gets creative with their workouts, with their regimen, if you will, home workouts and really just in general to really keep themselves going during these tough times. I mean, there's a little positive spin there, but god dang, man, it just shows the creativity and what you guys put out and everything that's going on through the turbulent times and how wrestling is always there to give you that little oomph, if you're feeling that little oomph.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I mean, obviously we were still shut down for many months here because we just couldn't have enough people in the same room with the restrictions to be able to work a show. We are actually having a show this Saturday. Well, whenever this interview airs, it has already aired the show. But so we recorded a show without a live audience. So we're gonna be just sending or selling the tickets, and the people who buy the tickets will get the link, and it's kind of a pay-per-view kind of thing. I had a point, but I lost it. COVID and restrictions, and yeah, about when you said about the workout, kind of like being creative with the workouts and stuff. And I feel like I've been working out a lot, and I'm a lot stronger, and I'm in a lot better shape than I was before COVID. But it doesn't always correlate to the wrestling ring, because wrestling, it's it's just a whole nother world. Like, because you need to think about so many things. You have to think about the story. You have to think about your character. You have to think about the audience, even though we didn't have an audience in this show, but we had like our crew members that we were still working for the audience, for the cameras. You have to think about the cameras, like where's the first, second, and third camera. Then you have to think about the safety of the other person. And like, it's just a lot. And I had like a pretty long, demanding match. I wrestled the Sun for the Nordic Championship. So that was my first ever singles title shot. And oh boy, like the cardio that that sort of a match requires is it's like off the charts, and you can't really get that kind of cardio from anything else but wrestling. You have to wrestle to be in shape for wrestling. And that is what we have been lacking, because we weren't able to have trainings up until I think we started our trainings like 5 weeks ago. So we've been wrestling for 5 weeks, which is not a lot to before a championship match. But it went well. It went well. But I just I'm never like satisfied with my matches. I always think I'm bad. I always think I look bad. I always think everything is just shitty, and I should do everything like a lot better. So it didn't help with my self-criticism. But I'm hopeful that we are slowly getting back on the horse and just keeping up the trainings, having more and more shows. And yeah, it's a never-ending battle, really.
First and foremost, 5 weeks. I mean, challenging, but you pulled it off. I did see that match with the San. Check out Regina's YouTube channel. God dang, man. From top to bottom, hard hitting, dare I say, back breaking. And god dang, man, I really just enjoyed, like we were talking about the storytelling. Like, it worked out. I mean, and when you talk about being your own worst critic, I actually appreciate that, because it's one of the things where, you want to do something here. Maybe I should have did something that. Some people call it overthinking, but it's like you want to put the best show and the best foot forward. So I can appreciate that. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually our first match with the Sun that you've seen. That it's free on my YouTube channel, but we just had our second match, which was a lot longer, a lot more demanding, and that will be available at some time. I don't know, in 6 months or something. So it's that's not going to be available for free, but it is available if you buy it from our website, wrestling.fi. Okay. And you had another point. You said something, and I forgot.
I can go back. It's okay. No. Hey, please, I'll be honest with you. As someone that, don't even worry about it. As someone who's an epileptic and has had some seizures, sometimes the old noggin doesn't go all the way to the top. So I completely understand. Head injuries. It happens, people. But no, I'll go back to my point. No worries. We were talking about the fact that 5 weeks, the training of that, and really just in general, it's just like, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned, like you mentioned the match with the San there, and what I saw on the YouTube channel. It's like, but again, the preparation and just everything that you talk about being your own worst critic, it's the dedication. It's not overthinking. I mean, Mick Foley is the same way. I'll compare you to a great Mick Foley. Mick Foley said, sometimes, I'm not favoring this one and that one. I mean, this is a man who's taken barbed wire shots and been on exploding barbed wire and has tore his body to shreds for the people and the joy and the love and the entertainment. So, I mean, if Mick Foley can overthink and he's put on some of the best matches ever, I mean, sometimes it's one of those things where even the greats do it. So I wouldn't say that you're an overthinker. I think you're dedicated to the cause, you're dedicated to your craft, and a lot of people can admire that. And I think you're inspiring a generation with that mentality.
I hope so. I hope something good comes out of it, because it's very exhausting at times. But I have learned through therapy, through a lot of therapy, that I can still be critical of my own craft. I can still want to improve stuff, but I also need to learn to be content and happy in a way, just to remember like where I was when I started, where I am now, like to be happy about that, but still want to go forward. Like that's something I really need to all the time really work on, to kind of like have some self-compassion as well. Like okay, so this is what you did, and you did the best you could at this time. But for next time, I want this and this and this and that to be better. So yeah.
No, like I said, I can appreciate that. I think that doesn't even just apply to professional wrestling; it applies to
No, no,
everyday craft.
exactly.
What's great about it too is like you see people's jobs. Like some people can have the most simplistic job, whether it comes to being like a teacher or hell, even a janitor. And it's like
Hmm.
people would make fun of someone for being a janitor, and I'm like, that's very admirable because it's someone who wants to clean up the community and clean up their schools, what have you. It's like
Yeah.
everybody has a place in life that they want to do their best at their job, no matter how small, no matter big it is, man. And like I said, that's the beauty of how we are as people in this thing that we call life and the uniqueness of our individuality.
Yeah, I agree.
And I will say this about you because what's cooler than being cool ice cold? I gotta say, I love the Ice Queen name. It goes,
Thank
it's
you.
very well. You're very welcome. But god dang, man, it's markability. It's one of those things where, all right, if I hear the name Ice Queen, boom, I'm gravitated towards you if I wasn't already, because it's like, all right, here comes a badass right now. The Ice Queen name. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stone Cold. Look at Kelly
Yeah.
Klein, the Ring of Honor. Pretty badass. She's pretty, she's a badass. Boom, put it together. Want to ask you about the Ice Queen name because, again, suits you very well, suits the talents, but you got a badass name. And that is something that I like about your character because we were talking about the character Ice Queen. It suits you well, but I wanted to know how that Ice Queen name come into fruition because it's the bomb.
Well, I think it was like pretty simply just because I'm from Finland and Finland is fucking cold. So that was kind of my thought process of, and also like because I started as a baby face and I was wearing this golden outfits, and then when I did my heel turn, I wanted everything to change from warm to cold. So I went quite extreme with that. I would like icicles and snowflakes and just being a cold bitch really. So I think that's it's more of a mindset. I have done like some storylines where we actually work the queen gimmick and I have like these what's the word? The people who are beneath me.
It's the peasants type of deal. It's the peasants.
Yes.
Everybody's peasants.
Yeah. So so I've worked that gimmick and I've had supernatural powers in some points and it's been such a great character to work with and to just keep evolving. But yeah, I don't think I don't see myself ever dropping like the ice and snow and cold gimmick. But it will, of course, it will change over time. But I've really grown into it, and I love kind of the symbolism behind it. So it's gonna stick.
It works, and I'm gonna say right now, the group Jet had that song "Cold Hard Bitch," man. So it works with the Ice Queen. Well, here's the thing. You started as a babyface, and I've seen the attire that you were referring to, and I love that
Yeah.
because, again, you're changing your character. Here I am as a babyface, and now here I am, Ice Queen, Ice Cold. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that really a lot of people gravitate towards because it's like it's the facial expressions, it's the overall demeanor, and it
Mhm.
works. And I mean, Ice Cold, and all women are queens. So again, it's a perfect
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, that's kind of like I can't really go with the whole all women are queens and
Yeah.
like everyone deserves to be treated equally in my gimmick. That's how I am in real life.
Mhm.
But if I'm working a heel gimmick, I can't really be,
Oh,
fighting for everyone's rights. But that is kind of a secret message behind it as well. Um and I'm hoping to um make that work if for some reason I'm ever babyface again. Then I will definitely want to see that make that kind of social justice warrior almost for fighting for equality. I think that would work
I
in
mean,
this day and age.
oh my goodness, including social media and everything in general, absolutely it would work in this day and age.
Yeah.
But you're also kind of like you want to do a heel thing. Like I mean, Booker T, Hall of Famer, amazing person. God dang,
Mm.
man, you're like the King Booker, where he makes you kiss the feet, kiss the ring. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying that's you. Thank you, all my loyal subjects. That's all you need to add, and you can turn that into like your own version of like what Queen Charmel was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's cool. Like it adds a lot of variety.
Yeah. It works.
It does. And that's what I think a lot of people can understand. I got to say words of wisdom from you, Miss Regina Rosendahl, because that's what goes into the character. And like another thing I'm going to mention is the witch thing, because I've seen it
Hmm.
with the Instagram, I've seen it with the character. Salem witch trials, one of the best thing in history, goes down in the history, in the annals of history. The witch vibe is cool, and I'll be honest with you, as a young man, I did watch me some Sabrina the Teenage Witch, to throw that pop culture reference out there. But
Hmm.
then it's cool, and I like the witch thing as well, because again, you get the superpowers, you get a little interesting stuff that goes into it, man. So I like the witch vibe that you bring to it too, because it's cool. It's different. It's like Isla Dawn, what she kind of does, and what we see in NXT UK. It's cool. It's badass.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot like Isla Dawn. I try not to like be too much like her. But I have to say, Salem witch trials like were actually the one of the worst things that has ever happened.
It
Like
has,
not the
but it's a history event. I know, but I mean, I'm here, people. Not everything in history is the greatest thing, but I mean, when you think of Salem witch trials, okay, yeah. But thank you for pointing that out. It's
yeah.
something.
But yeah, it's because I actually practice witchcraft in my life, in like my personal life. But it took some time before I started working it in in my character as well. Um, and I'm still kind of like I only add like a very little, like there isn't a lot of witchy stuff in my gimmick yet. I'm kind of debating if I want to go that route more. But like you said, Isla Dawn is doing that right now, and she's kind of having like a quite a high profile storylines right now. So I don't think I want to do it at the same time. So maybe later. Um, but yeah, I like to add some pentagrams here and there, and but it's actually honestly, it's not just like a logo. It's because it's a symbol of protection. So I want to have that when I enter the ring. I want to have a pentagram on me, so it's for protection for myself and for my opponent. So yeah, but it looks cool as well. So
Hey, it's the imagery of it that also really helps. I completely
yeah.
concur with you on that. And first and foremost, we're going to talk about practicing witchcraft here, my witchy friend, witchy woman, if you will, to take it back to ELO style back in the day. But let me ask you, when it comes to the witchcraft side of things, I appreciate that because we have a lot of different beliefs, we have a lot of
Hmm.
awesomeness, we have a lot of different stuff that goes into the craft of witchcraft. What made you get into studying witchcraft, man? Because there's a lot of stuff out there that we can also learn about certain types of endeavors. What is it about witchcraft that really interested you?
Well, I didn't actually even realize that me and my basically my whole family we've been doing witchcraft ever since I was born. Um, because Finland is very much pagan country. So we don't like, for example, we don't celebrate Christmas. We celebrate Yule.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a lot like you would see like in American commercial Christmas, but it's because those things are taken from our Yule. Um, but like the Santa Claus, for example, he's from Finland. Um, but um, but so we don't have religious stuff to it, so we don't have that Christian side of things. Um, so we've always celebrated the pagan holidays. We've always, I remember, like ever since I uh, was a kid, I would do like these midsummer spells with my grandmother. We still do them every year. Um, so like it took me a while until I like actually started studying it. It was I was in my 20s when I'm still in my 20s, but like early 20s. When I started to actually study the craft and I realized like, oh, I've been doing this for my whole life. So but yeah, now I'm like a lot more into it and I kind of understand now more why I gravitate towards this certain kind of symbols and things and people and animals and everything. So yeah, I think I've always been a witch, and my grandmother is also a witch, but she will not ever admit that.
First and foremost, just going back to the fact that you just compared the Christmas commercials to what y'all got over there holiday-wise, I can definitely see that because ours are very jovial. And all right, I'll be honest, and I love it. Growing up as a kid, again, in New York, the Radio City
Oh
Christmas
yeah.
show, it's like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Here's Santa, it's the choir, here's the Rockettes. I get it. It's the pageantry. So I understand where you're coming from the commercial
No,
side.
but honestly, I love that as well. I'm a huge Christmas fan, like or Yule fan actually, but I don't know why I never. I guess it's because people don't really understand if I say Yule. So I've always, when I speak English, I always say Christmas, even though we don't use that word in Finnish. But so yeah, like the pagan Christmas, like we don't. So, but yeah, I love that, and I would love to experience Christmas or Christmas time in New York. Oh my God, that's like a dream.
Okay, there's a plus and minus. The plus, the Christmas tree, at Rockefeller Center,
Yeah,
everything in general, beautiful. Too many damn people though in the city around that
yeah,
time could get violent. I'm gonna put it like that. But god dang man, through that cheer, it's beautiful and it's awesome. So pretty much what you want to be is like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone 2 Lost in New York.
yes, yes, and yes,
I put that image in your head and you were very quick to say yes. Okay.
yes.
All right, now we'll go back to witchcraft for a second.
Okay.
Not the Salem witch trials, because I know we talk about annals of history and the negativity, not going the Salem route. But there was an
Yeah.
episode of Eden and Kell, the Chicago witch trials. It's pretty much like when Linda Cardellini played the witch character, and Keenan thought that she was a witch, when in actuality she really wasn't. She may have been, but it's one of those things where, from that comedy aspect, it's like, because we see that in popular culture, where people will talk about that. I mean, for God's sake, Halloween Town is one of the most iconic Disney movies ever.
Yes,
But it's cool. And like I said, when it comes
it
to
is.
different beliefs, yes, when it comes to different beliefs and just everything in general, I can respect that. And like you were talking about the Christian side of things, when it comes to
Mhm.
someone who is Christian and Catholic, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Not all Christians will damn you for your beliefs. I actually can respect that because it's an open-minded, all right, let me see what this is. And I think a lot of people can see that because I am a believer of stuff like that and the paranormal. So I mean, it all kind of goes together. It's very interesting, open up our horizons, if you will, to different things.
Yeah, and it's not like you can't have both. Like witchcraft is not a religion.
Mm,
So there are a lot of witches who believe in the Christian God. There are a lot of witches who believe in Wicca, and then there are a lot of atheist witches. So I think I'm more of a atheist, or I don't really know because I kind of believe everything has energy or almost like souls, but I don't believe in a god as an entity, really. So I don't really know what I believe, but just witchcraft and religion are not things that cannot coexist.
exactly. And that's what I'm saying because a lot of people, and especially of the Christian religion, not all, like I said, it's like they look
Yeah.
at stuff and like it's the work of the devil. And I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? I just, and not to put it so bluntly, like, no, but it's just like, if someone believes in something, I mean, we all have to have something to believe in, whether it be faith or a different type of ideology. It's one of those things
Hmm.
where it's like, that's what makes the person who they are. It doesn't make them a bad person, just makes them them. And again, it shows individuality and unique, to bring up those terms again. And it's very cool. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes people who we are. And like I said, it makes you who you are. It shows you the badass in the ring, outside the ring. So it makes you a strong person and really encompasses your overall being. So I got to give you some love and respect on that front, Regina.
Thanks a lot. But yeah, I appreciate like all religion. Okay. Let's say I appreciate everyone's right to have their own beliefs and the right to have their own religion. But I do not support the fact that any country anywhere makes laws based on their own religion, because people do not share the same religion and the laws need to be for everyone. So just keep your religion out of the law and then we're good. Everything's good.
Amen to that. All right. Yeah. I know this is some deep stuff, but it's just like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's cool. All right. Let me go back to this because you're bringing up a lot of great points here. So a
Yeah,
lot
but
of,
I don't know if I'll ever make it in America because I'm very opinionated in this. So we'll see.
well, first and foremost, if you need a friend, I am a good friend and I got your back. So don't even worry about that. As long as you don't cast a spell on me, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Little hocus pocus vibes,
We'll
Regina?
see.
Oh, I like your style. We'll see. Okay. I'm a little terrified, but I'm also excited at the same time, Miss We'll
Good.
See.
That's my thing.
Hey. No, I think that's how it should be. And a lot of people bring a lot of religion into stuff where it's not needed. So I can appreciate that mindset as well. So I will say this back to wrestling now, because
Yeah.
again, wrestling show.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Professional wrestling matters here now at hand. I will say this. What I also do appreciate is when it comes to what we have, and I wanted to bring up this tweet because you were so excited, as many other women are. Mickey James, she's coming into NWA, producing an all-women's pay-per-view for NWA. I cannot wait because there's a lot of released talent and a lot of great talent on the indie scene going to get some shine. How excited are you?
Very super fucking excited. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but
you can. You already did once. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, good. But I'm very those kind of things really make me emotional because like we've done a lot of work towards equality here in Finland, and sometimes because things are going pretty good here in Finland, and then I sometimes get blinded by like how much we've grown that I forget that other promotions and other parts of the world may not have done that. So, and especially like, I don't know, the States are, because on the other hand, they are doing such great things for female wrestling in many promotions. And on the other hand, like, there's just a lot of shit and people are just getting treated fucking horribly. Like, speaking out proved us once again, like we all knew that already, but like now people are talking about it. So there's still like so much work to do for equality and just getting just respect for their work, for our work as female wrestlers. Um so yeah, this is, I think every promotion should push their female talents. Every promotion should get more female talent in the roster. The fact that it's Mickey James, who I've watched like since I was, I don't know, 13 or something. It's beautiful, it's emotional. I can't wait for that to happen. I can't wait to see who we're gonna have in the show, what's gonna happen. But yeah, I think there are still like a lot of steps and there's still like a lot of statements that need to be made before we actually reach actually like real equality.
Beautiful.
But yeah.
No, I here's the thing about it, what I love about it too. And when I was a kid, and here's what we had. We had WWE, we had TNA, we had Ring of Honor, we had a lot of promotions here in the States. But what I always was drawn to, so Ring of Honor would bring in a lot of talents of Shimmer, who have done a lot of great work in the Mae Young Classic, such as Paige, Becky, et cetera, et cetera. Like, god dang, man, I would watch Raw, and there'd only been like a short, minuscule amount of time that they would give the women. Not like Trish and Lita, but others on the show. And I'm like, man, we got some talents here. You know, let's push them. And then you'd go to like a Ring of Honor show, and here's Sarah Del Rey, and here's Daisy Hayes, girls like that. And it's like, they're giving these women time. And it's great. You know what I'm saying? And you wish that you could see a lot of this on the mainstream television. And with the addition of the Mae Young Classic and the evolution and just the overall going from divas to professional wrestlers and women being showcased for their talents and what we're going to see now at NWA, it's like, this is where we need to have the women in the forefront. And I love that. And like you mentioned, equality. I mean, I understand like guys like to look at a lot of beautiful women. I myself do. If I'm ever guilty of one thing, it's my love, admiration, and respect for women. I'll say that right here on the air. But it's like there's more to that. Let them accentuate what they have from the skill stance, besides like the physical stance. Like just let them go, let them tear it down, and that's what we're seeing over the years.
Yeah, and I mean, I like beautiful women. I like beautiful men. I like beautiful people. I don't necessarily need everyone on a wrestling show to be beautiful. I don't necessarily need every single person I come across to be beautiful. I don't think that is something that makes a person valuable.
Right.
Or like I like beauty and I like being beautiful and doing stuff like that, but I still want to think that that is not what makes me valuable as a human being, or that is not what is it does not measure my worth. So I understand that wrestling is a very like the aesthetics are a very big part of it, but I believe there are so many different ways, shapes, colors, sizes, everything that you can make the character work. You can tell a story. You can be a wrestler. So I just think that it has been way too narrow how we see wrestlers, men as well, but like more so women. And even now we're just talking about men and women, but not everyone in the world is identifies themselves as a man or a woman. Like there's so much more. And I think we need to start working for that in wrestling as well. Like, what is the purpose of gender in wrestling? What is the purpose of gender in the world? When does it matter? When does it not matter? In wrestling, when we're doing theater, we're telling stories, gender should not matter. I 100% believe that. And like we are doing in Finland, our whole roster is just intergender. It doesn't matter what gender you are. And we don't call it intergender wrestling, it's just wrestling. But we have educated our fans, educated our audiences to see that. And we tell the same story. We still have to tell the same story each and every night because there's always someone new watching. We always need to tell that again. Okay, so these people may have different genders, but it does not matter. And here we go again. So I know there's like a lot of work even to see intergender wrestling in mainstream networks or television. I think it's still, I don't know. I know Tessa did it, and I think it worked, but a lot of people thought it didn't, and that's just fucking sad. But I don't know. I believe like I don't think I would have a problem with having these rosters based on gender if we could somehow include non-binary people to that without discriminating. And I don't see how that would happen. It's very hard for me to see. So yeah, we need to acknowledge there are more genders than just two.
All right, I'm going to follow up with that because I'm going to say from the American side of thing, and I don't mean to be blunt with this, but I'm going to be blunt. Some Americans are dumb. And what I mean
some?
Hey, I'm not saying all of them are. I'm not including myself in that. All right, I see what you did there with some. I'm trying to be nice. So, not all of them, but some. This one over here trying to like nudge me over here. I see what you're doing there, Miss Regina Rosendahl. Anyway, back to what I was trying to say. So, intergender style of wrestling. I mean, we've seen it from the 80s where it was very comical, where we had Andy Kaufman, the intergender champion of the world.
That was horrible.
Okay. All right, I'm getting to that. Damn. Okay, so Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler had a moment on a David Letterman where he threw the coffee, and it was very iconic in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So that was our early introduction to that. But I will say this, when a lot of people have, discredited or really have just shit on, to put it bluntly, intergender wrestling, I will say this. Mm-hmm. If guys and gals can train together and, do what they do, what the hell's the problem with it? You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned Tessa making it work. Like we've seen a lot with intergender wrestling. And I'm going to say this right now, even in America, we still go on the fact of like, oh my God, there's a gay wrestler here. I'm like, Sonny Kiss is a badass wrestler. Darren Young's a badass wrestler. Ashley Vox is a badass wrestler. So it's like, and I said I would put my stance on this because I have a friend who knows that I like wrestling, and he's a casual fan. He follows what's up, and then he goes to me because we see a lot of talents like that come in. He's like, man, would you want to wrestle someone like that? I'm like, Yeah, it's a person, and I don't care what their sexuality is. If I'm going to put on a badass match, I'm going to tell a story, I'm going to wrestle them. It shouldn't matter what their sexuality is or what the hell they're doing. If they're hell of a talent, I'm going to work with them. And if for me, I mean, a lot of people would say they put the intergender style things on, man, would you want to lose to a woman? Yeah. Why not? It's the story. I don't mind wrestling a woman, losing to a woman. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all people. We all like the same stuff. We all have the same goal in mind. So it's just like, you know what? Let's do the damn job and let's do it to the best of our abilities.
And also, wrestling is scripted.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like,
That's the problem. That people don't get that
like
mindset.
breaking news, but wrestling is scripted. So I don't like. I don't even understand the concept of like I understand it story wise, but like if my character loses, I'm not lose. I'm just acting
Yeah.
a story where my character loses. Like I really don't understand that. Like people take themselves way too fucking seriously. And also like even if it was a fucking actual martial arts fight whatever, like a lot of the girls that I know would probably still beat you guys up. Like they probably still would. So it really just comes from the misogyny, and that is so rooted to us. Like even as women, it's just so we've been taught our entire lives that women are like this and men are like this, and that women are less than men. And even if people don't say that exactly, they are saying it through their actions and expressions and how they say things, how they word things, the tone in their voice. So there's like because the world is misogynistic, then so is wrestling. And I would love to help the world be less misogynist with my work in wrestling. I want to, because this is kind of my world. Wrestling is my world. So I want to make wrestling a better place, and hopefully that will do something good for the world as well. Um, but yes, that is exactly why it's very important to have this fucking women show in NWA. So yeah.
Hey, like I said, and that's the thing too. Like I think you could tell obviously by talking to me, I'm very open minded with this stuff. But it's just like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't grasp that concept where it's like, okay, like you said, wrestling it's predetermined, but it's just like why should that matter? And like you said, people take it too seriously. It's the politics with professional wrestling. We all know, that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I'm going to lose to a woman. So who cares? It reminds me of Disco Inferno, who was in WCW, who did not want to lose to Jacqueline. And that was, the whole shebang there. That was a big thing. So it's just like, just it is what it is. I mean, we also have to understand that things change and things revolutionize and evolve. So it's just like, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people have that old school mentality, but it's just like, okay, you have your thing, but it's like, here's what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things change with the times. Good.
Exactly. And like we've had some people leaving our promotion because we are doing things differently because we want equality for everyone, and they're not happy with it. Like we got some backlash from supporting Black Lives Matter last year, and like from the inside, and it's like, oh god, just please fucking leave. We don't need any Nazis here. um so I really don't like that's why I feel like it's very important to aggressively push equality in in everything that I do. I do it also on social media, but even if people are not that, active on social media, just take those steps in your daily life. Like just you know, you need to do that. You need to have your eyes open, and if you see something that's wrong, you need to do something about that. And that's always been my mindset. It's so hard to kind of come to the understanding that a lot of people don't think that way. And it's weird.
I will say this first and foremost. I like the fact that you're just like, please just get the fuck out. Like that's very blunt. It's also very like, please just get. You said please. It's a magic word. Just get the fuck out. So no, I respect that wholeheartedly. And when you talk about your social media, and we'll plug it at the end when we get towards the end of the show. But I got to say, you're a great follow. I see how you promote that. I think it's a great message. I got to say, you're a great follow on Twitter and Instagram. You give it up with the content wise and just your overall message. I dig that. I think it's very respectable and commendable. I like it.
Thank you.
I
A lot of people like how um people don't say it to my face, but like I hear everything, honestly. Like I know what people say about me. I have my ways. But it's like I know it's very annoying to many people how I do my social media, how my feminism is very insulting to many people. Well, not many people, but like some people. But that just fuels me more because like if I'm getting a reaction, it's fucking working. I need to do it more.
Hey, any publicity is good publicity.
That too.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think for me, my stance, because we were talking about this before, the show. I'm just like, well, my biggest influences are my mother and my grandmother, two of the best women in my life that really raised me to have this ideology and just be respectful towards women and people in general. So it's just like, it's
Mm-hmm.
also the homegrownness about me, if you will. There's a word for you, homegrownness. Just add the ness to it. Like, oh, hey, everybody had ski to their word, S-K-I, bro, ski. You know what I'm saying? Have the ness. So, so it's like that's how you are. You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to look at things. And I guess it's that respect. And I got to say, a lot of these cats out here, yes, I'm going to say the word cats, a lot of these guys and gals don't have that tact, if you will. And I think it's kind of like a lost art. And it's a lost, really, just overall professionalism that we don't see nowadays because, again, we're in the era of technology and everybody's just got their heads to their phones and shit. And they don't have their eyes and ears to what they need to be listening to. So it's just like there's no tact, if you will. There's no tact.
Yeah, I don't know, but a lot of that, like, if you just look at the right stuff on social media,
Mhm.
you can also educate yourself. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you just numb your mind with, well, I don't want to say unimportant stuff because people they they choose themselves what is important to them and what is not. So, but yeah, um, I don't know. It's I could go on and on
Oh,
about this
I
for
appreciate it. That's why I look at you and I'm going to say, like you were talking about being opinionated before. Don't apologize for being opinionated. You're a very passionate person. That's, again, very respectable and commendable. Don't apologize for being opinionated and hearing everybody. You get your eyes and ears open and finding out other ways. I heard what you said there. There's some undertones there. I'm going to say I'm a little frightened, but I'm also intrigued and also, in a sense, there. I hear you there where you find your ways. You found a way. You're like Drake and Josh with their old theme song. You found a way. You found a way. I see you.
yeah, but like honestly, like yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of very good, trustworthy friends. They're almost my family. A lot of the wrestling people in Finland, even in Sweden, in Norway. Like I've adopted some of the women from the other Nordic countries. Um, but I feel like I have built such a strong community like around myself that I feel very safe in the Finnish wrestling scene. I know this won't be the only wrestling scene where I will work. I know I want to work in other places in the future, and I'm terrified of that because people are shitty. Wrestling people are shitty. Men are shitty, and it's like I don't know how to approach things when I'm not, you know, if I go somewhere as a visitor, I don't know how I'll handle that if I see something that's wrong. But I know I won't be quiet. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I'll put it to you like this. I'm about to teach you a new word. You sense the bitch assness. You sense bitch assness up in here. You're kind of like, you're smelling out the bitch assness, and you can just, it just gravitates towards you, and you just want to smell out the bitch assness, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I like that. Again, I like that. Well, first and foremost, there's nothing wrong with being opinionated because there's a lot, shockingly, I know this is breaking news too. There's a lot of opinionated people here in America, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Right.
we're all opinionated. So I mean,
Kind of.
yeah, but just chill. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with having that. I mean, you get to get
Yeah.
your point across. Let your voice be heard, ma'am. So you do.
Yeah. I know. I think the most important thing is just to like, I know it's a cliche, but stay true to yourself. I think that's just the only way to live, really. And see where it goes.
I feel like we're like advertising in a way for like Miss America, if you will, because you were talking about stay true to yourself. But no, that's very true. But it's also like when the Beach Boys had "Be True to Your School," ba rah rah rah, sister boom ba, man. I mean, that's old school from the '60s. But hey, the Beach Boys had a message with "Be True to Your School." So I mean, you want to talk about classics and cliche? There you go, right there. But no, I digress. By the way, I will say this on another pop culture side because this has been bugging me. Like we've been talking about Finland and the prestige that we have with your school and
Hmm.
everything. Here's the thing about Finland, man. I was a 10-year-old kid, I believe around like early 2000s. Okay. So SpongeBob SquarePants. It's at the height, right? It's SpongeBob SquarePants. There's the episode with Doodle Bob. You know what I'm saying? He's drawn like the bowling
Hmm.
ball. And he sees Patrick's head as like the pins. And when Patrick gets knocked unconscious, SpongeBob asks him if he's okay. And what does Patrick scream out? Finland. That's again early images of Finland. If you remember that episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
I do not watch SpongeBob,
Oh, you. Oh, okay. Never mind then. All right. SpongeBob reference. I'll pick that
but
up. Not a fan. Not a fan.
nice story.
Nice. Okay. All right. Not a fan. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So moving back to professional wrestling.
Sure.
Okay. So I have to message this as well because god dang man, you talk about being just with everything that you talk about from the feminist side of things and you talk about modeling side of things. And here's why I love you because again, we talked about this. You have that attitude of it's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. This is me. And I love the bluntness of that. You know what? Fuck your standards. Here I am. It's almost very like when Paige came into NXT. She's the anti diva, got over with a lot of the fans. She's the NXT women's champion. She's showing her abilities. And boom, here we are. With you, what I love about you too is like, again, beautiful imagery with your photos. You're a beautiful woman. I mean that with the most sincere respect. But yo, I gotta say, first and foremost, beautiful imagery, and I love the fact that you're producing with what you have, just who you are as your overall being. Because there's a lot of people that come with curves, there's a lot of people with different shapes and sizes, and dare I say that voluptuosity factor, and you showcase that with your imagery and your overall, sentiments there. And I really love that message that you put out there.
Thank you. It's actually like being been a big part of my eating disorder recovery.
Hmm.
It's part of my therapy, really. Just putting myself out there as I am. So it's been very therapeutical and very healing. And ever since I started doing that, I think I only started like actually like taking those kind of pictures like last year or something. Um, that I didn't edit. I did not make myself look smaller or smoother or hide my scars or cellulite or anything. So it's actually been very oh god, I'm starting to lose English words now. I have three languages in my head right now, so it's like, oh,
Okay, well,
shit.
let me help you out here, Mr. Gene. It's very healing, and it's very like you mentioned the healing process and the therapeutic, and you really start to get that like self confidence. You know what I'm saying? And you really get
Yeah.
to see get that outlet about yourself, which again, it's the overall mindset. You develop that positive mindset and the overall confidence, if you will.
Yeah, and also like I feel like I don't need to hide anymore. I don't need to like hide myself, in the ring or in any performance I do or anything. Like I just look like me everywhere. Like I don't need to worry about that. So, yeah, I think it has actually been a lot more helpful to my mental health than I initially even thought.
No, and here's the thing with a lot of guys, I will say nowadays, and here's again, we don't judge on shape and sizes. There's still some assholes out there, a lot of them. I'm not going to say some because I'll add the all to that, and you know what I'm saying. I'm going to add the all as opposed to the some. So here's the thing, where again, as a young man in my teenage years, I'm in my 20s now. I just turned 29 back in April, so I'm almost to the big 3-0, and I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
dreading it, but I'm also happy at the same time because another year older, yet another year wiser, all grown up. I feel like the Rugrats. Anyway, I digress. So, so when it comes to what we have as people and how we grow, I think I've just always appreciated that because as a male, I think a lot of women that I've been drawn to have been a lot of the women with the, like we talk about the curves and just overall the voluptuosity factor. And what I appreciate about that is there's a lot of women who are confident and they just show it off. And it's just like, you know what? That's also what draws us to us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of beautiful, like fit girls. We all come in different shapes and sizes, but it's a lot of us that get drawn to a lot of girls with curves because it's like, you know what? This is me. Here I am. So the confidence is an overall admirable and desirable quality that really showcases. So again, you should be very proud about that.
Thank you. And I think like I'm very privileged to look like I do. Like even though I've had my challenges and like I mentioned like the eating disorder and everything, but like I still have like the socially acceptable curvy body because I have a small waist and wide hips and big boobs. And my face is beautiful and I don't have a handicap or anything like that. I'm white. Like I have so many privileges. Like I understand that, and when I'm promoting like body acceptance and stuff, like I understand my privilege as well. And that's why I don't talk about body positivity, because that is for marginalized bodies, which I'm not marginalized at all. Um, other than I'm just bigger than the ideal body, so to speak, in society. Um, but that's why I don't use that, because I don't want to steal the spotlight or steal any room from the people who are actually in marginalized bodies. So, but I do want to promote body acceptance, body neutrality, body love, all of that. And I think it's so important for everyone, like not just women. I think for all genders and all ethnicities and everything. So I know I've had like a very narrow um view on beauty and beauty standards and life in general, but um I try to learn every day. I try to listen to people who are more marginalized than me and just listen and learn. So I want to be a good ally to people, and I want to help people. Um, but if like my pictures, my posts help anyone, um, then it's awesome. It's I couldn't ask for more really, but it is it's a selfish thing still. I do it for myself, but if I can help other people in the same time, then that's cool.
Well, I got to say, you are and absolutely loving yourself, and that's the most important thing. And also for the fact that, man, you talk about your hips and you talk about your breasts. I got to say, oh, what a winning hand, man! You should be very proud of that voluptuosity factor, man. I just see you just like boom, 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 just ranking it off, man. Oh, what a winning hand! So that really just showcases what your overall body and your being, because it also showcases not just externally but internally, man. Because I also look at it from a stance too. The eyes are the window to the soul, and I think you've got a very pure and unique and beautiful soul, my friend.
Thank you very much. But yeah, I don't. I lost my thought again. Mm,
All
Jesus
right.
Christ. I'm sorry. You can cut that out.
You're fine, please. It happens to me all the time. Don't even worry about it. To help you out to where you're going there, I look at it from a stance too. Like we were talking about internal and external, from the stance of just like here I am, there's my body, and here I am with my overall mind, body, and soul. I think that also what really encompasses you, because again, we were talking about loving ourselves and really just the overall facts with your imagery. Like I'll be honest with you, I saw an imagery with the donut, and I gotta say, I want to be your best friend. I love donuts. You know what I'm saying? Here's the donuts on me. Have some little munchkins. Go to Dunkin' Donuts. Boom. Have ourselves a party. but it's one of those things where it's just like I see the donut post and I'm like, all right, this girl likes some donuts, man, hook me up, because it's, again, it just shows just the overall fact that this is you. I'm going to eat a donut. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't give a flying fuck. And that's the thing too. It's the toot about it, man. You got the swag. I'm not even going to say it's the attitude. You got the swag about you.
Thank you, but like those are like very much like I know I'm proving.
Yeah.
I know I'm being very provocative with
Yes.
the post because I know like like fat people eating is like the worst thing that could happen. Like I know that, and I love doing that in my underwear.
First,
um
don't apologize for it. I'll be honest. Don't even apologize for provocativity there. There's the word
yeah,
for it. Provocativity. But no, don't even
yes,
apologize for that.
yeah, and I won't. But like I'm in a place right now mentally that most of the time I love my body. I like how I look, but like I said, it's still called recovery, so it's not like I'm healed from my disorder. So there are days that I'm very much still struggling, and I it's very self-destructive as well at times, but now I have learned how to cope with that. Um, but still, I feel like doing those photo shoots and posting those pictures and quotes and whatever, it's like it's always, even though I feel like shit when I post them sometimes, I know it will eventually be a good thing.
And it is, and it will be. I got to say, continue doing those posts, because again, you're going to be helping yourself and you're going to be helping a lot of people. And at the end of the day, like you said, that's cool. It's hella cool, is what I'm going to say. It's hella cool, because it's one of it's one of those things where, again, we have the power, and all of us have to use that power. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how we use it. Some use it for good, some use it for bad. But we all have that power to inspire and encourage people through our words and actions, and that's what you're doing. So again, being very proud of what you're doing for yourself and for the people. I think a lot of people can relate. Then you're just inspiring another young woman to do what she wants to do, whatever endeavor she wants to, pursue. So I mean, you should be very proud. You should be very, very proud.
Thank you. I really hope people get something out of it, like, you know, really find some strength in the post maybe, or just I can't find the English word again. Now I have it in two other languages. Well, it
Motivate.
is what it is. No. But it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next question.
Don't even worry about it. First of all, you want to talk about cut it out. Don't even worry about it. Sometimes we struggle with our words. And again, as someone who've had our noggins rung a little bit in many different ways, it happens. So don't even worry about it. Don't even apologize. Please, I appreciate that. No, you're good. Anyway, I digress. I'll move on to the next topic. So, okay. So, many things have happened with FCF. And one of the things I do love, I love Dynastia. I love your group. I love your fandom. God dang, man, I just saw your latest post on Instagram where y'all are drinking, y'all are having some fun. I was entertained. I was happy with it. It shows the behind the scenes, and it just shows a good time. And that's what I love about your group, from the dominant side of things and what you do inward, the fun times as well, man. I'm entertained and I'm gravitated towards it. I love it.
Thank you so much. My tag team partner, who is Prince Make,
Mm-hmm.
that's the original Dynastia. We have also two other guys in it, who we've gotten to it quite recently. But yeah, Prince Make is like one of my real life closest friends, and we started wrestling on the same day. Um, we actually knew each other before we started wrestling. We went to London to see some wrestling together when we were like 18 or something. So it's like, it was such a beautiful story to start that dynasty and start our own tag team or stable, and it's just so much fun. We have such good chemistry with him. Like the pro okay, in that promo, I might have been a little bit drunk, like a little. But usually, even when we're like totally sober, it's like we're like, is the camera rolling? Okay, go. And we always go like we do all of our promos with one take, all of them. So it's it's like I don't know. It's because we have that chemistry and we know what works and we know what we want to say and we know when to shut up and we know when to speak and we know how to help each other if needed. Um, so yeah, I was just watching those. They were like from a couple of months ago. Those clips that I posted today. Um, but yeah, it's been one of the best things in my career to be able to tag and just do stories with Prince Maka.
Man, it shows, and that's what I love because sometimes, whether it be from a tag team or a single star, y'all bring the best out of each other, and I think that's what makes it. Like you were talking about that wrestling family, it's the camaraderie. I mean, like we were talking about the politics and the negative side, but that
Mm-hmm.
there's some positive sides. There's camaraderie. There's the friends that you make in this business, and there's a lot of fun you get to work with. And I mean, first of all, talk about being a little drunk, man. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of that liquid courage. Sometimes everybody in the club getting tipsy. But hey, man, I got to say, I think that's you just with your overall spirit and your vibrancy. And sometimes you up it when you get a little bit of liquid courage. So don't even apologize for that. Sometimes you just got to let loose. You know what I'm saying? A little bit let loose, and that shows in that promo.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was yeah. It was actually New Year that we cut that promo. We were at the New Year's party and we were like, we should probably cut the promo now. Yeah, yeah, we should. And then we just went downstairs to the basement, put on the shooting light, and just started rolling. So, yeah.
Hey, what came out of that though was a nice ass smile because you do have a nice smile. You could tell the fun you were having. So keep on smiling.
Thank you very much. I hope we can do a lot more stuff with him in the future. But we'll see if we're gonna have actual shows this summer or not.
Hey, I will say this. I was looking at your social media there at Rings of Europe, Finland, and France for you and Calypso, man. I got to say,
Yes,
badass. I cannot wait.
I know. I've wanted to work with Calypso before, and she has wanted to work with me. Um, and then I didn't even mention that to the promoters or anything. They just happened to put us in a singles match together, and we were like, "Damn, girl!" Like we've never met each other. We've just been following each other on social media. Neither of us have ever worked with Rings of Europe. Um, but I'm guessing we're gonna have a good time, at least with her. So I can't wait. It's my first time in Austria as well, and I don't speak one word of German, so I probably won't understand what's happening. But we'll see. Maybe they speak English. I don't know.
Hey, if we could get someone like Walter out of Austria
Yeah.
doing the damn thing, man, and he's just absolutely a brute with drop kicks and boots and power bombs. When you see someone like Walter, and hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you will, I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, if Arnold could be the governor of California and do what he's done for the bodybuilding world and acting world, I think you got this in the back with learning some Austrian, man, and speaking some German.
Yeah, I'll try my best. I think I'll study German my flight, uh, and see how far it gets me.
Okay, if Arnold could get over with "Hasta la vista, baby," again, I think you
True.
got it in the back.
True.
Again, that's the beauty of it, though, learning some other language and really just, I got to say, adding a lot of moves to the repertoire, if you will, from different styles. And again, the European style. Like I'm saying, I'm going to say this to the audience that do listen to this. God dang, man, don't sleep on the European style. They say no sleep till Brooklyn, Beastie Boys style, but do not sleep on some of the European talents we got, man, because we got a lot of great talented people like you're hearing today with Miss Regina Rosendahl. But god dang, man, Europe, y'all are killing it. Y'all are killing it, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, and there's like so many different styles like around Europe. Like like France is very different from us, for example. We are very different from the UK, and like there's so many different. I mean, UK is kind of, even though they're in Europe, I kind of see them as their own style and all own like entity.
Mhm.
Is that a word? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, but still. So many talents, so many promotions, so many styles in Europe. It's cool.
It is. And I also look at it from a stance too, like going back just to like you were talking about body positivity and everything. Like here's what I think. Here's what I look at you and here's what I like about you. And this is what I like about a lot of the talented, just overall women that we have that are imposing forces. And dare I say, you kind of like an irresistible force meets the immovable object, to quote the late great Gorilla Monsoon. Look at somebody like Piper Niven. Now she just made her debut on the
Yes.
main roster, and I love me some Piper Niven. And the fact that
Hmm.
we had to, what pissed me off about this with Eva Marie, and Eva Marie, beautiful woman, wrestling
Sure.
wise, I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah. I mean, there are lots of beautiful people in the world, but should they be in the wrestling ring?
no,
I don't know.
no. I'm just gonna put it bluntly, and again, this is no disrespect and shade to the girl, but we've seen this song and dance before. No, so
Yeah.
back to Piper Niven, the
Yeah.
good part. Piper Niven from NXT UK. We've seen her in the Mae Young Classic. Viper. I'm talking about ICW. Kaylee Ray, Queen of Insanity. Man, okay. So she comes out. Mollywops. There's another term for you. Mollywops. Naomi. And on,
Yeah, poor Naomi.
I know, but they're acting like, who is this mysterious woman with,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's Piper Niven.
Yeah.
Okay, and it pissed me off. But what
Like
was,
she's been working for you like for 2 years or something. So-
that's what I'm saying. And you just
yeah.
want to choke somebody. So, violence aside, it's like, what you're doing in that moment too is like, for fans like myself who want to watch NXT UK, it's just like, why do we even have this? You know what I'm saying? Because she was a pivotal part of your division, and now you just want to erase that from my memory. It's like the Fiend when he's talking about erase your mind. You've erased my mind of her NXT UK career, and it's like, what are you doing? But she does that, and the whole thing that we're getting now with Eva Marie, with her being her quote unquote protege. Uh,
Mhm.
what pissed me off is the comments afterwards, because yes, I know you people want to see Eva Marie because she's hot. I get it. But let's not take away from the fact that we have a beautiful woman like yourself who's athletic and you can move and you're very talented. I've seen the powerful maneuvers you do and I like it. And that's what I say, I like your style. Here's a Piper Niven, same thing. Woman can move for her size, very athletic. So stop with the goddamn body shaming. And Piper Niven, much like yourself, has the same attitude. Yeah. So what? And that's what I love about the stance of it too. But yeah, Piper Niven getting the just due that she deserves. It's great to see her on the roster, but Eva Marie, nah.
Yeah, that was I was super emotional when she made her main roster debut,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. I'm glad that they seem to be making her babyface still,
Yes.
because it seemed like Eva Marie was the heel, and Viper or Piper was kind of heelish, but still clearly a babyface. So I think that it maybe the story could get Piper over still, but I hope so. And I really hope, because the only like actually plus size woman WWE has had in the main roster is Nia Jax, who
Mm-hmm.
is fucking like the most gorgeous woman in the planet. Like she's a model and she's the cousin of Dwayne the Rock Johnson, so it's like it's a bit different than coming from like someone like Piper, coming like she's basically a nobody. She's just a wrestler, so to speak. To get to the fact that she made it to the main roster is it it just gives so much hope to the women's division, and to women who are bigger, and just women who look different. But Eva Marie, okay, I'm gonna keep this short, but I do have to say it. Um, I I'm sure she has worked very hard. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure she has put so many hours to WWE to she's in fucking great shape. I know she can. I think she did some like aerobics or something like. She's super. she's in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay. And that's about it, honestly. Um, when she was there for the first time, it was almost disrespectful that she got that airtime,
Yeah.
and then other women who work probably as much but are more talented and who can um, do more were not given that chance. And I feel like it's the same thing again. And also, they just released
Mickey James,
Mickey James.
Billy Kay.
Yeah, like so many talented women. And then they hire Eva Marie back. That was kind of a slap in the face, honestly,
And
to
the
the
thing,
women's division.
exactly. And the thing is, too, like, yes, there was the reports that came out that she had re-signed, but it's like, again, Mickey James, who could be a coach, she's a veteran, she has that legendary
Yeah.
status, future Hall of Famer. And you have
Yes.
these young women like Peyton Royce, who, if you let her go, let her talk, amazing. Same with Billy Kay. She
Yeah.
is funny. She's entertaining. I am intrigued every time I see Billy Kay on my
Yes.
TV. I want to laugh. I'm gravitating towards it. Eva
Mm-hmm.
Marie comes from the world of Total Divas. And
Yes.
okay, you could tell me that she's been training her butt off. I remember when she in her first stint, she trained with Brian Kendrick. Brian Kendrick, I
Yeah.
love Brian Kendrick.
Yeah.
But when you're trained by someone like Brian Kendrick, who has the tools, and then you go out there and use his move and almost kill Carmella on NXT with the slice bread, you can't tell me. Again, I'll be here all day, but ugh.
Yeah. That's I'm not a fan of it. I don't like, no disrespect to Eva Marie. Like, she's just doing her job. She's just
Yes.
doing what's asked of her. This criticism is going to the people who made that choice.
Mm-hmm. I understand where you're
Yeah.
coming from, and I look at it from a stance too. Like we were talking about beautiful women like Piper. And by the way, I love you even more for that Nia Jax comment. See,
Yes.
Nia Jax comes from the plus size modeling world, and I got to say, I've seen some of her photos before WWE. Beautiful woman.
Yes.
Girl can move, and she's a beautiful woman. Like we have here, we're about models. Like we have Tyra Banks. You know what I'm saying? We have Naomi
Yeah.
Campbell. We've seen the history of modeling. Like personally, plus size modeling has taken over the game. Like Ashley Graham is a beautiful woman here in the
Mm-hmm.
States. And here's the thing that we had in the States, again, going back to being Americans are dumb, here in the stuff that we worry about. So there was a
Yep.
post many years ago. I don't know if you've seen this or are familiar with this person, but here's a story that we had. Tess Holliday was a plus
Yeah.
size model who was on the cover of Cosmopolitan, and
Yeah.
people lost their shit.
Yes.
Again, the stuff that we lose our shit over, and we have stuff going on with countries and the economic and the stimulus and everything from a stance that we have to worry about in the world and the country. We're worrying about a woman being a plus size model on the cover of Cosmopolitan. Priorities, people. Come on.
Yeah. That was horrible. Um honestly, like, yeah, there's still like a lot of work to do in that department. But I think now that we had Nia Jax and now that we have fucking Viper in there,
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that there's representation, it matters so much. Just think of like the little girls who are looking at it now. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're going like, hey, she kind of looks like me. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I could do it. So, uh, this has been such an important week for wrestling. It's it's awesome.
It is. And I got to say, for you, what's very important here, and I'm going to say this about you, and before we close this out, Regina, I'm going to say this right now. The overture's here, round two. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome to. I really had a blast picking your brain and shooting the breeze on wrestling and all different facets of life. It's really been a joy talking to you today.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I forgot this was even recorded and it's going out somewhere.
Hey, that's the beautiful part, man. I got to say, it's
Yeah.
two buddies, it's two friends shooting the breeze on what we love. That is the art form of professional wrestling and everything in general. And the fact that you're into witchcraft, and I'm kind of worried I might get a spell cast on me, but I'm okay with that, man. I get your back anytime you come here in America, but please don't cast a spell on me. I'm intrigued, but I'm also frightened a little at the same time. As we'll see. You got me intrigued, man. You got me intrigued. I got to watch my back now. So anyway.
Yes.
I love you. But yo, Here's what I want to say about you that I love. You got the knowledge about you. You got the athleticism about you. You got the talent. You got the overall, dare I say, the accoutrements, if you will. Yes, I use that word, the accoutrements. So if you could give any advice to any young lady who wants to get involved in the world of professional wrestling with that old noggin, that knowledge that you have and the overall studying of your craft of many art forms, like we talked about basketball, we talked about the world of mixed martial arts, we just talked about crafts in general, including which. So I have to say to you, what advice would you give to the young ladies coming into the game, coming into professional wrestling that want to get involved with FCF or just want to get involved in professional wrestling in general? What advice would you give them?
I would say don't.
Fair enough.
It's a shitty world. But I mean, if you really want to do it, if you're like actually super positively sure, then I would say find a good school. And when I say good school, I don't just mean someone who can teach you moves, because anyone can teach you moves. What I mean is find a safe place to work and to grow and to fail and to succeed. People who are going to have your back, find those kind of people. And then after you've done that, just remember to enjoy. Enjoy the ride.
Beautifully and eloquently said, my friend. I also will say this: you are not the first person on my show to ever say don't when it comes to getting involved in professional wrestling. Well, first and foremost, and people, when she does say that, and I'm going to say this with the utmost sincerity and respect, it's a very tough business. And the
Yeah.
politics side of things that we discussed, it can be a shitty business. As someone who has the joy of giving people the platform, like Regina, to tell their stories, there's a lot of shitty stuff that happens in professional wrestling. So just keep
Yeah.
your eyes and ears open and listen. I will say that as well. Just keep your eyes and ears
Yeah.
open.
And it's if it's not like actually for you, if it's just something you might want to try to do a little, then I would suggest to find another hobby, because this is like honestly we're working on it. We're working on the business, but it's still broken. So it's still a process. So it's not gonna be fun for a while.
So, so as someone who's in her mid 20s, like we both are, you know what I'm saying? We're both in our 20s, and you'll probably
Yeah.
get the reference. If you don't, I'm gonna say it anyway. It's like the Seether and Amy Lee song, "Cause I'm broken."
Yes.
That's the wrestling business in a nutshell. Listen to Seether and Amy Lee, "Cause I'm broken."
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly.
Hey, facts are facts. But I will say this in regards to you, Miss Regina Rosendahl. This is where I step back and please promote the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. People, she's a great follow on all forms of social media. I definitely recommend you give a follow. And YouTube as well. You got a badass YouTube channel. You got a couple matches on there. Check out her matches. But yo, this is the time for you to promote your stuff. I'm going to step back. Ladies first, not just a Queen Latifah song. Go, Regina Rosendahl.
Thank you very much. So myself, you can find from basically everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, um, and YouTube. You can find me at 2Regina. Um, then, if you want to follow my home promotion, which you should, it's FCF Wrestling. So it's FCF Wrestling. At FCF Wrestling everywhere. Go give us a follow. There's gonna be lots of stuff about me, about other incredible female talent. And the men are okay as well.
Uh-huh. Oh, I don't know how to follow that. Man, this woman's like, the men are okay as well. Okay, ma'am. All right. I don't know how to feel about that, but I like that. I like, again, it's the swag. It's the swag. I'm going to allow that. So,
They know I love them. I
uh-huh.
don't need to give them praises.
Yeah. All right. All right. So definitely check out FCF. Do your research on it because it is a great
Yes.
promotion. And follow Regina. I got to follow you on TikTok now because I just started the damn thing. And here's my thing with TikTok. I was a little bit against it, like a lot of people were, but there is some good
Mhm.
stuff and funness to TikTok. I definitely recommend, if you're not following Regina on TikTok, I'm about to as soon as the show ends. Get yourself on the TikTok, heart TikTok, you don't stop. Tickety tock. I'm taking back to Blues Clues. So anyway, my nerdiness aside, definitely check out Regina on all forms of social media. And Regina Rosendahl, besides the fact that men are okay, do you have any final words for the people that has been supporting you since day one and following you on your journey into the professional wrestling world?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sticking with me. Like, I know it's been a rough ride, but it's getting interesting, isn't it?
It is. And to quote the late great DMX, stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. Whoa, that's how Rough Riders roll. You're a Rough Rider. It's been a rough ride, but here you are. But started from the bottom. Now you're here. I'll be here all day.
Yeah.
I digress. Gina Rosendahl, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to another round of this. So for Regina Rosendahl, what's cool to being cool, ice cold, the ice queen, witchy woman, watch yourself because this girl knows some witchcraft and she knows some wrestling. That's a whole lot of greatness right there and a whole lot of accoutrements. I'm using it again before we close the show with Regina Rosendahl. My name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening to another edition of On the Mic with Mike, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Regina, thank you so much.
Thank you.